What's up, ladies and gentlemen of YouTube? You are back through to the FightGanonFight channel, and we are still in Digimon Month. What I'd like to tackle today is speculation and opinion for the Digimon Tri Chapter 2 Determination trailer that dropped about 2 weeks ago. I've been kind of wanting to talk about this for a while, but with my initial try reviews being incomplete up until yesterday, this seemed like the perfect opportunity to jump into it and sort of give my own opinions or speculation of what might happen based on information that we know currently. So when the trailer dropped, we were treated to some images saying leftover memories, and they sort of hit, and we get a look at Joe studying away at the computer, and then he looks at his phone and sees Gomamon as his phone wallpaper screen. This episode does take place a couple of months after Chapter 1, so maybe Joe's kind of feeling lousy about not being able to help. We then cut to what has to be a flashback from the Devimon arc of Ogremon and Leomon fighting, while Elecmon watches on, clutching a Digi-Egg. It's beautifully drawn, and the look in Ogremon's eyes, just completely whited out. It's rather terrifying, but it has the caption like the meeting between old friends or something. So I think Leomon might turn up in this as well as Ogremon. I don't want him to, though. I'm just going to throw it out there. I want Leomon nowhere near this series. And I say that with the best of intentions. Leomon have a habit of dying in the Digimon series, whether it's Leomon, Saber Leomon, Ice Leomon, Boncho Leomon. Leomon in general just do not last in the Digimon world. So I'd rather Leomon stay away from this, because I don't think I could go through that Leomon dying again. So we see a shot of Palmon, and it's met by a new threat, and then we see a picture of Kari and Mako in a bathhouse, and Kari's taking a photo of what's obviously going to be an embarrassed Mako. And then we get a look at Rosemon. This had already been confirmed by the Determination poster that Rosemon and Vikemon were going to show up, so it's nice to see Mimi's Palmon finally get to Mega. And she seems to be fighting against a corrupted Imperial Dramon in its dragon mode. So this was also shown on the poster. So it also means that the 02 kids haven't been completely forgotten. We see a screenshot of Hackmon looking stern and pensive, so he must be watching out for something. I think he has something more to do with Mekumon than Alphamon. And then we see Vikemon, and Vikemon animated is amazing. And it's the right choice, I think, for Zudomon's Megaform to be Vikemon, because Marine Angemon is also a possibility, but he got used in Tamers, and I think it would be underwhelming, because Gomamon's a joke character as it is, to have him evolve his Megaform be Marine Angemon. I just... Anybody who doesn't take Gomamon seriously would have no reason to going forward after that. So then we get the shot that everybody's talking about, what looks to be the return of the Digimon Kaiser, or Digimon Emperor. And speculation about this character has been running wild. Is it Ken? Is it Tai? Is it a nightmare scenario for Tai, who's, afraid of hurting others or afraid of getting somebody killed? Is this his worst fear, that he becomes as bad as the Digimon Kaiser? Given that we see an infected Imperial Dramon, and there was a lot of emphasis put on Ken's Digivice, in the um, in the opener. I've no doubts that it is Ken, but the the wild hairstyle and the sort of more streamlined glasses or goggles, it could also very well be Tai. Like, so it wouldn't surprise me either way, but I'd hedge my bets on it being Ken. Um, so moving on from that, then, um, we know the Blu-ray and DVD for Tri 2 is coming out on the 2nd of April, which is Masaru's birthday. But the actual movie or OVA series goes live in Japanese theaters, and I presume on Crunchyroll on March 12th. So we're really only, a little over a month away from this, and more information about it is coming out all the time. One thing that has become knowledgeable, or information that has come out, is Joe second guessing, whether he should grow up or remain a chosen child, and the conflict that's causing him, and where he sort of needs to grow up, or can he continue to live out this duty. So, and it's an interesting take to see how Vikemon shows up, so he obviously has his resolve somewhere to continue being a chosen child. But it comes down to when and how, and is it a satisfying conclusion for Joe's omission from chapter 1, and does it mean we'll be seeing more of him in chapters 3, 4, 5, and 6? I certainly hope so. I wouldn't like this to be a case where the characters start dropping off. The interesting part is that this is a Mimi and Jou centric chapter, as opposed to, say, maybe Mimi and Izzy, who they were teasing all through chapter 1. So my guess would be, Tai and Matt were the focus of chapter 1, so Mimi and Jou become the focus of chapter 2. There's a teaser at the end of this trailer for chapter 3, which has Patamon saying goodbye Takeru. So I think chapter 3 is going to be very TK and possibly Kari focused. That leaves Izzy. So Izzy and Sora then get chapter 4, and we see Hercules Kabuterimon and Phoenixmon in chapter 4, perhaps. And then that leaves chapter 5 for maybe Mako, and then chapter 6 for everybody. And so just the pairing offs are a bit odd, but I suppose Sora and Joe makes about as much sense as Mimi and Joe, and maybe Mimi and Joe are the better scenario here because their personalities are at two different ends of the spectrum, especially for what Joe is going through and what Mimi is sort of looking to accomplish as she grows up. So it could be very well done. It's the teaser for chapter 3 though that has me. Like you see Patamon flying and he waves, and then it just comes up on screen, goodbye Takeru, and then you see TK calling for Patamon. So it's a little odd to me that they're teasing it that early. They're teasing chapter 3 confessions that early. We know it's coming summer of this year, but to be teasing it even before chapter 2 is in the cinema or chapter 2 is on Blu-ray, it's an intriguing hook, but I do believe chapter 3 will focus around TK and Kari. The title is Confession, as we were saying before. So I'm very curious to where that goes. Like, will it delve into the darkness? Like, would the idea of the infected Digimon or their friends being corrupted and the return of the Kaiser, would that stem or reignite TK's hatred of the darkness that came up in season 2, when it was very obvious he never really got over the fact that that Angemon sacrificed himself in season 1? So it's a very interesting dichotomy for me to see where they're going with that. Will the Dark Ocean play a role? Will, and how will what I'm guessing to be Seraphimon and Magnadramon, just like the Hurricane Touchdown movie. If they go with Seraphimon and Ophanimon, that's cool too. But my hunch is that Tailmon's going to achieve Megaform in the form of Magnadramon, because I think the new Digivice toy that they released, her Mega form, I believe, is Magnadramon on that. So to veer that away from Magnadramon and into Ophanimon be quite the swerve and quite the welcome one. But I just think to make the toy line consistent with the show, Tailmon will evolve into Magnadramon in possibly chapter 4 or chapter 3. Sorry, but and I think that's really all I sort of have to say on it. Like I'm happy to go back and forth with people in the comments over it, or do a follow-up as we get closer and more information comes out. But what I was saying before during the chapter 1 reviews about the personality growths and the kids growing up and their lives changing and their outlook on things maturing, I really want to see where they're going with Jou. I mean, the trailer for the upcoming chapter 2 had Daigo and Maki talking about how long should the Digidestined remain Digidestined. Like, is it right to hold them to that role for the rest of their lives? And then, there's snippets of Mimi and Jou talking about their outlooks. So I really want to see how Jou's character changes again, how it grows up and how it matures. I'm really looking forward to that. And that'll be as awesome as it'll be to see Rosemon and Vikemon. I seen Rosemon in Digimon Savers. Seeing Mimi get a Rosemon will be amazing, because we've had to wait 15 plus years for it. But Rosemon has already been in an animated series, and I suppose you could argue Ophanimon has 2 with Frontier, so Magnadramon, maybe that helps Magnadramon that bit more. But I want to see how they go about Jou's resolve and his dedication to the cause, and if he becomes the sort of 6th ranger almost, where he only shows up when it's everybody else is nearly on death's door. He makes the big saves or something because he can't be in the fray the whole time. And his character arc is what I'm looking forward to, I think, more than anything, just based on the build-up. So I'm in less than 15 minutes on this. I should really probably maybe talk about something else. And the only thing I'd really maybe want to touch on is the promotion of Adventure Tri and the fan service as of late, and how just weird it is. I would need to go and get my information back up to spec to put context behind it, but there was a magazine print in Japan, I think for animes, and they had images of all the girls and all the boys baking Valentine's chocolate for each other. And the one of the guys is pretty cool. Like, Izzy's on his laptop, presumably looking up recipes. Tai and Matt are very on much of I'm not going to let you outbake me sort of rivalry, while TK is just stealing the cookies that Matt's baking. You know, it's and Joe is in this apron. It's stirring things up in a bowl, and it's very cute and just very nice. And then you get the girls image, and everybody's in bikinis. Bikinis and chocolates is, and I'm like, why is this a thing? I mean, if it was summer, I'd almost understand the bikinis and the pin-up aspect of it. Like, if that was, there's a way of going about fan service that isn't just for fan service sake. You want to do a pin-up style poster, don't throw it away on something as stupid as cookie baking. And now we have an image that's come out for Mimi and Mako, and they're in cheerleader outfits. And it's just, again, could have been a summertime image, but how canon the Valentine's thing is up in the air. I think even the magazine that printed it was like, it's your own call on where these events fit in, or But again, I want to get my information up to date before I'd speak solidly or confidently on it. But I just think the fan service for the fan service sake is kind of odd. Like, it's even like, I had a friend of mine on social media who was just like, nope, that's my childhood. Nope, what are you doing? I wasn't ready for Mimi in that sort of bikini. And you get that. I get that. It's funny though when you think about Digimon Frontier, and there's that infamous scene that was cut from the dub where Zoe or Izumi is trying on all these different outfits, and you've got the sexy dynamite image. But I think so many people grew up with Adventure and Adventure 02 and maybe trailed off around Tamers and Frontier, that seeing something you grew up with just blatantly put out into the fan service market, it is kind of cringeworthy. But feel free to share your own comments on that below. As with anything we've touched on in the trailer, feel free to sound off on that. Again, I'm really looking forward to what could be the return of the Digimon Kaiser. If it's anything but that, if it's anything but Ken, I think it'll be a letdown. On one hand, you don't want to be retreading old ground too much, and if it's just a nightmare scenario for Tai where he believes he's become such an awful person that he's effectively become as bad as the Emperor, I'll appreciate that too. But I do want it to be Ken controlling that infected Imperial Dramon, without a shadow of a doubt. So I'll leave it there for now. We'll touch on this later on in the month again, as more information comes out and we get closer to release. By all means, like the video, subscribe for more, comment below, and I'll see you guys very, very soon with more content. Thank you, and good night.